Okay. All right. Let's see. Glennon join me live. All right. Let's see. Join me again live. Hi, guys. All right. I'm trying to wait for Glennon to join. Yeah. Sometimes Instagram. There you are, Mama. Okay. Let's get her. Here we go. All you have to do, baby, is just accept the ad. Yes.
We did hard things. Sister, that was so stressful for me. All of my existential fears. I was like, I'm here. I swear I'm here.
I promise I'm here. I don't know what's going on. Lady. Hi, Mamacita.
Are you? How are you doing with all of this?
I'm good. I think that all of us in this situation right now can be grateful for our spiritual work that we've been doing for as long as we've been doing it. Mm-hmm. And I just want to just open up by saying that I was watching you launch this epic book, by the way. You did it again. Thank you. I was laughing my ass off in my bed the last 2 nights, like laughing my ass off. And I watched, just so everybody knows, so this is what happened for me. So I'm a fellow author. Glenn and I have been friends for a while. We've been on stages together, and I've been a reader and a fan of yours for a really long time. And I saw the book come out, and I'm watching, and as an author, like, I know what goes down when you put your blood and your sweat and your tears and your heart into writing the book, and then you put your blood and your sweat and your tears and your heart into preparing to launch the book, and then you rev up to this level of like extreme preparation energetically to go out so big in such a big way, and then it was halted. Okay, and I just want to first acknowledge that halting has happened for so many people. So there's so much going on about fear and uncertainty and all the terror. And then there's this other element of what's happening right now, which is this sort of people had momentum around whatever it was that they were creating. You know, one of my team members, her wedding has been postponed. People, God bless all the mamas who are preparing to give birth. Like there's things that are happening that we had prepared for that we can't, see through the way we had expected. So I saw this happening. Your baby, your book baby was being birthed, and then it was, sent back home. Not that the baby wasn't coming out, because the baby's out. So I just wanted to just make sure that I took care of my friend in a way. I saw what was going on. I was like, I am here for you, and I want everybody to use this book right now as a way to find reprieve and to get back into their center, and to just have another thought in their mind before they go to bed about, blowjobs and, leaving your husband for a woman and, becoming untamed, because we don't need to go to bed looking at the news. We can go to bed reading Untamed. That's my hope and my intention for this interview. Okay.
Thank you. And Gabby, I mean, when you reached out to me, it's just, there might be people that can relate to this. It's like, it was so sad for my team and me to make that call, and we canceled everything pretty early. Like it was a week before everyone was canceling everything, just to bring it all home. And it was one night I was laying in the hotel, and I was just feeling so sorry for myself. And I kept saying to myself, of course, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever made, besides the children, yada, yada.
Yeah. Another child, though, in ways, this is a birthing, like when you put yourself out there like that. Yeah.
But then I thought, wait, that's not true at all. Like, the most beautiful thing I've ever made in my career is the community of people that is going to be showing up at these events. And I can't, things get very simple when you think, oh, no, we always value the people above the project.
That's right.
Always.
That's right.
So then it just became very simple. Oh, yeah. But the way we can show up for each other is to not show up.
That's right. It's exactly right. Let's repeat that. The way that we can show up for each other is to not show up. I've been seeing all those images of all the doctors saying, we're here for you, so stay home for us. Like, come the fuck on. Like, before we get into the book, because my primary intention is to give people a moment of, to use this as an opportunity to give people a moment to think about something else, right? But I do want to just honor you for the activism and so much of what this book is about is this like unleashed woman, right? This woman who's just like, fuck it all. This is who I am. This is what I have to say. This is what I've been through, and this is who I'm going to be now. And so that fire and that fierceness is what all of your community, my community that follows you, everybody finds so activating and inspiring, because just I just want to really acknowledge you being in that grounded stance of your conviction inspires so many other women to wake the fuck up. So thank you. Let's just start there. Okay, let's just start there. Forget the books. Let's just look at that first and foremost. So I just want to really acknowledge you in that. And I want everybody to, if you're not following Glennon already, go to her page and just see all of the work that you're doing for the children and all the work that you're doing for just supporting community. And, that's what you're about. You're an epic writer, but this is what you're really about. You're a beautiful speaker, but this is what you're really about.
It is.
Yeah.
You know everything. You always know the things. That is correct. I feel like every word that I write or speak is really about Together Rising. And speaking of that, if you need help right now, a lot of people know us because of our big projects, like at the border and with the refugees and with the LGBTQ kids. But we've been first responders for a decade. Like, we spend most of our day just fielding emails from women who need to keep putting food on the table or lights in their house. Just, if you need us, we're working triple time.
Yep.
Go to Together Rising and ask for help. And if you have extra right now, go to Together Rising and give, because more requests comes more needs. So
yeah, and it's a place that you can give where it's going to go directly to the hands of a mother, directly to the hands of a baby that needs food. Like, it's going to go to the right place. You can trust it. That's what people believe.
And we have a amazing and very lucky and privileged system where we have some donors who pay all of our administrative costs. So 100% of every penny that's given to Together Rising by you all goes directly to people in need.
Love it. I was going to start us with a prayer, but I think we should probably close this conversation with a prayer. My intention for this conversation is for everybody to grab your coffee, sit back, get Glennon's guidance, get your coffee. My coffee is missing somewhere. I've completely resurrected this now I've made a recording studio in my house, which is amazing. It's amazing that we can do this stuff. It's amazing that we have these resources, and let's just all be so grateful that we can gather this way. And in some weird ways, there might even be more gatherings right now. I mean, every time I turn on my Instagram, it's live. Everyone's just wanting to connect, and I think that's not going to stop. I really think that's going to continue happening. Let me see. I have my notes for your. Oh, here we go. So last night when I was in bed, Glennon, just going back and reading the book, because this book is really cool. The thing I like about memoirs is you have this opportunity to mess around and tell a story in all these different ways, and what you've done is probably one of my favorite ways to read is these short segmented messages that all have the same through line. Mm-hmm. And when I was reading the book, and the thing that's cool about the book is you can read it all the way through, but you also just open it. Mm-hmm. So I want to start with hearing from you about what came through you when you sat down to write. What was the message that came through you?
Well, the messages of Untamed is, I think, the message that's been bubbling up in me since I was 10 years old. Okay, so when I was 10 years old, I became bulimic. And I think that was a direct result of me learning from a million different places that I was too much, that I was different, my feelings were too big, my anger was too big, my doubts were too many, my beingness was different, and I started to numb myself with food, right? And my whole life, for 20 years, my life became addiction and eventually a mental hospital and diagnoses. And there was a lot of there was a little part of me, Gabby, the whole time that was like, I don't think I'm crazy. Like, I actually think I was just paying really close attention. Why would a little girl get an eating disorder? Like, let's think. Like, why would a little girl in our culture start to believe that she cannot trust her hunger, that she cannot trust her emotions, and that she needs to do whatever it takes to stay very small?
Yep.
Maybe because that's the message that little girls get from everywhere. Like, maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe I was just paying close attention to cultural messages, right? Maybe these people that we call broken are actually just responding quite appropriately to a broken system.
Yep.
Right? So the message of Untamed has been, and the reason why the first half is written the way it is, it's like little teeny stories proving how little girls and women are tamed over time.
Right.
Right? How we're shamed out of who we are, and how we're put in these little teeny cages.
Yep.
And when we live in these little teeny cages, we try to be good girls and quiet and polite and ladylike and small and pretty and dainty and
and quiet.
And then we wonder why we feel crazy in our cages, right? And then we're gaslit, like the universal gaslighting of women when we start to express, wait, I don't like this. I feel caged. I feel like I have more in me. And then everybody goes, oh, just be grateful for what you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? You're crazy. It's a universal gaslighting. So my entire message in Untamed was like, oh, I was never crazy.
Right.
I was never crazy. I was a prophet.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
So, Gabby, when I went to I needed, as writers, like we need something. We have these invisible ideas. All of these were like invisible ideas bubbling inside of me. But you have to have a metaphor. Like, you have to have something visible that you can point to say, this thing this invisible idea I have in me is like that visible thing that you can see, right? So I'm at the zoo park. I'm at the safari park with the girls and Abby, and they want to go see the cheetah run. Okay, whatever. So I'm like standing with all the families, sweating, just pretending that we're having fun family memory time. And this zookeeper comes out, and she's holding the leash of a Labrador retriever. And I'm like, okay, I'm not a scientist, but if she tries to tell my kids that fucking Labrador is a cheetah, I'm getting my money back, right? So she goes, do you all think that this is our cheetah? And all the kids go, no. And she goes, you're right. This is Minnie. This is a Labrador that we raised next to Tabitha the cheetah. We raised them together so we could tame Tabitha. And now Tabitha wants to do everything Minnie does, right? So first, Tabitha's going to watch Minnie do the cheetah run. And then we're going to unleash Tabitha, and she's going to do the cheetah run. So we all watch Minnie. The cheetah run is this like Jeep thing with a pink bunny attached to it. And Minnie, of course, has been trained to chase this pink bunny. So the Jeep takes off. Minnie chases the pink bunny. Yay, 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 yay. Okay. So then they unleash Tabitha. And Tabitha like crawls out of her cage, and she's just gorgeous. And her muscles are rippling, and she's like majestic looking. And then they start the Jeep. And I watch this gorgeous, majestic, powerful, fierce animal chase this dirty pink bunny down this well-worn path that all the audience goes, yay, Tabitha. And I looked at Tabitha chasing that dirty pink bunny, and I thought, oh, if a wild cheetah can be tamed into forgetting who she is.
Right.
Forgetting her wild. And she can be tamed into chasing a dirty pink bunny her entire life. If a cheetah can be tamed like that, so can a woman.
That section made me cry. It resonated really, really deeply. And then to hear you actually tell it in real time is actually really emotional, because I think that, know, any woman watching, but anyone who feels, any human who feels that they have been tamed understands exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there was this moment where a little girl raised her hand and said to the zookeeper, is Tabitha sad? Does she miss the wild? And the zookeeper said, no, Tabitha was born here. Tabitha's never seen the wild. She has a good enough life here. How many of us have been told it's good enough, it's good enough? So while she's answering questions, she puts Tabitha into this like field, this small field. And I'm watching the zookeeper, and my little girl Tish, she pushes me on the shoulder and she points to Tabitha and she goes, Mommy, look at Tabitha. Tabitha in this field away from the crowd, everything has changed. Her entire posture has changed. She's now stalking the fence, looking like somewhere beyond the fence. Her entire posture has changed. She suddenly looks regal. And Tish says, Mommy, she turned wild again. And Gabby, I just became transfixed with watching Tabitha, because I swear to you, it was like she was remembering something.
Right, 100%.
And she never had seen the thing she was remembering. Right? This is the power of imagination. Right. We as women, we have never even seen in the visible reality in front of us what we were born for, because it hasn't been created yet. Right. Which is why it is so incredibly important to rely not on like, oh, it's a pipe dream or it's imaginary, our imaginations.
Right. Right.
Because for us, for any group that's been marginalized, we have to look inside of us for what is possible, because if we only look outside of ourselves, we will only keep creating the same things that have ever been created.
Right? Look inside of us for what's possible. Yep.
Inside of us, and that is a strategy. It's not a pipe dream, right? This is why every group this is Martin Luther King, I have a dream. I haven't seen it yet. I have a dream. Gloria Steinem, dreaming is a form of planning, right? It's because for those of us, we return to our imagination, not to escape reality, but to discover the truest reality for us.
Right. This is really timely, my friend. As you know, it's interesting. It's like we sometimes don't realize what we're meant to put out when we're supposed to put it out. And I believe that God tells us what to write when it's meant to come forth. And this is maybe at first when you're like, oh, this book Untamed is being launched, and it's a memoir, and people are going to need to figure out how to get home or whatever, you know what I mean, how are they going to find this memoir? It's actually exactly what people need, because right now so many of those childhood 10-year-old wounds are being triggered, right? So like little Gabby's wound of not having enough food is being fucking triggered right now. Okay. Like Abby's having that too. Yeah. Maybe she should call me. I need support. It's up. It's up. I am like, everybody stop cooking everything. I have family members in my house that I'm holding space for. I'm like, don't cook, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, don't unfreeze things. And it's also another form of control. So let's talk to the addicts, the bulimics, anyone who has any form of addiction. And the truth is we're all addicted. And I really want to hear from you about this as it relates to being untamed, because what's happening is we're super activated. The little Glennon's up, the little Abby's up, little Gabby's up, and little Gabby's like hoarding, and little Abby's hoarding, and whatever we're doing. Oh God, I can totally like feel her right now. And so our addictive behaviors and the ways that we stayed tamed and in control, right? Because being untamed is letting go of that control, in my opinion, right? Just being released.
All about control.
Being released. So being tamed is about being in that place of how do I stay in control of all these things I don't want to feel? And that's why we become addicted. And so I would love to hear from you, just to speak to the addicts, to speak to anyone with an eating, because I'm thinking a lot about people with eating disorders right now too. A lot of folks with eating disorders, like how they might be, eating their way through their feelings, or the fear of like, not enough. Because my eating disorder that I worked through was overeating because of that fear of not having enough. It's gonna make me cry right now. I'm sorry. It's so emotional.
Abby too. I mean, Abby and I both have eating things. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I am restrictive, and she is, what would you call it? Like a lot, right? So we trigger the hell out of each other, which is of course one of the reasons why the universe put us together so we could work this shit out. But you know, she's dealing with the trying to resist the hoarding thing so that we can do the right thing for the world, while also trying to secretly hoard so that she doesn't feel scared.
Yeah.
But like, there's not that much to hoard around us. So we have maybe right now like 16 rolls of cookie dough and so much ramen that I just told her if we don't die of corona, we're definitely dying of ramen.
Right.
Like, it's so much. And we had a conversation last night where, you know, she said, I'm just worried about, it's just food in the family. It's the family. I need to feed the family. And it took us a minute to get to like, this is the old stuff.
I'm sorry, it's really emotional.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think what happened when I was talking about it just hit me like how old it is, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's triggering all kinds of old stuff for everybody. And also, Gabby, thank God what you said at the beginning, we've been doing recovery work for so long. Because God bless everybody who hasn't yet. I mean, I feel so much compassion. What's happening is we're scared. Like the world, things are scary outside. But also, we've had to stop. And we don't stop. We are like snow globes, right? We keep everything shaken up, right? We scroll, we shop, we snark, we overwork, we stay busy to stay shaken up.
Right.
When the snow settles, there's like something in there.
Right.
And right now the snow is settling for so many people because it's been forced upon us.
Right.
And we're stuck with the truth of who we are.
Right.
And when we're running so fast, the truth of who we are, there's nothing bad there, right? It's just that being fully human is painful as shit, right? There's a lot of pain there, and there's regret and fear and loss, and a lot of us are sitting in that for the first time.
Right. And for some people for all people, because you're exactly right, the snow globe shaking is how the majority of people function as a way to stay safe, as a way to avoiding being in who we really are, being in the childhood wounds, being in the truth of what's up. And so when we sit down and we try to be still, or we are forced to be still, we can go mad. And I think that's why we have to really, really keep coming back to the conversation of how do we allow ourselves to really regulate our energy in whatever form that comes. And I think that actually one of the ways, I was listening to Deepak gave this really beautiful Facebook Live or whatever it was. And he said, people always say like, the power of positive thinking. And he's like, yeah, I believe that's powerful. But he's like, right now, if you're in full blown fear, trying to be in the power of positive thinking will make it worse. And so it's like, this is actually the time to be untamed in a healthy way. But,
feel how we feel.
Feel how you fucking feel.
That's
feel how
it.
you feel.
Don't there's nothing worse. Okay, here's the thing. I am sad that my book tour is canceled.
Yep.
I feel a little bit selfishly weepy about it and thinking about what could have been. And then there's this layer that's like, but you shouldn't feel that way because so many other people have it so much worse. People have it so much worse. People have it so much worse. And that is true and unhelpful for making it through human emotion. So saying I can't be sad because other people are sadder is exactly the same as I can't be happy because other people might be happier. It's just like you have the feeling of what is, and then you're layering on top of it a layer of shame.
Yep.
So now you've got the fear and the shame, completely unhelpful, right? The only way to make it through that is I give myself, as long as it takes each day, just to feel really sorry for myself.
Totally, 100%. Good.
Feel how I feel. and then I move on and I get on Together Rising and I do some things for people. And
right.
You can get through it if you let yourself get through it, as opposed to not telling yourself you can't feel a certain way. So, Gabby,
and, you said something interesting just now, which is like that you're taking an action that is like supporting you to not be stuck in that place. And so I just want to speak about that for a second, because I think that a lot of people are like home and like the snow globe is settling and they're like, I have to do something, right? But, I really want to ground people in what I refer to as like spiritually aligned action, because what Glennon just described was actually spiritually aligned action. She actually let herself process how pissed off she is, how upset she is, how disappointed she is, and let it move through. And then once that moves through, she's cleared the space for inspiration. So she's not just like taking action just to numb out of that disappointment. She's taking action from a place of, I've processed that rage and that disappointment, and now I am clear enough to go serve. So we all are feeling, particularly people watching right now, we're all spiritual activists, and we all are feeling this like major call to do our Facebook Lives and to share and to give and to help the world. But if you're doing it from a place that isn't fully, not fully, because we're not fully resolved ever, but like, or we will be one day, but we're not fully resolved, but in a clean place of like, of a serenity, of a release, of a place of alignment, spiritual alignment, then the action will actually have a negative effect. So I just want to really celebrate how you're doing this.
Then there's when you do the action out of more snow globeness,
right,
out of a way to avoid, out of frantic energy, for me, it's the same as going to the pantry and getting a box of cereal
100%.
Eating the entire thing, which
100%.
is when I started my.
And then I think, we're all doing this, like, kind of, there's this acting out online, right? And the thing that we don't realize is like how much we may be, how much the eyeballs on us, even if it's like 100 people or one person, or how, that's like psychic attack. That's a lot, right? So you want to make sure you're clean before you show up and put anything out, because everybody's the media right now. Everybody's got a big way to support. But if you're doing it from that snow globe frantic place or addictive place, it's going to be really detrimental to you and to your well-being. So how can we be untamed in a grounded way?
Yeah. Well, right now, I would say we just let ourselves be however we are, right? We let ourselves feel however we feel. We let our people feel however we feel. I mean, one thing that I find very funny right now is, what the easiest part of my day is these days is any interview I'm doing like this.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I am in a room alone right now.
Right.
And the rest of my family is out there.
Right.
Okay. Like, who was it that said you might think you're enlightened until you spend a week with your family? Okay. One of the reasons we all want to like get online and do something right now is because
we want to get away.
We are realizing that not only is it difficult to sit with ourselves for this long, it is also difficult to sit with our people for this long. So, one of the ways that we can be untamed right now, I think, is resist fiercely this idea that no, even during this time of global shutdown, we will entertain the lie that we are all producers, that all we are meant to do is produce. Like, one of my friends sent me a freaking meme 2 days ago that said, don't forget, Albert Einstein discovered the theory of relativity while he was quarantined. And I was like, F you very much.
Right.
Like, so now I'm not only supposed to make it through this scary time, but I'm supposed to create the best work of my life during this time.
Right.
No, we need to all lower our expectations.
That's right.
Exponentially for ourselves, right? Most of us are trying not, just do the bare minimum. We're trying not to lose our jobs. We're trying not to lose our minds. We're trying not to lose it on our kids. Like, our kids will learn something important during this time. It might not be reading skills.
Yep, that's right.
Right? It might be that actually we aren't in control. And actually, at the end of the day, all that matters is that we take care of ourselves and take care of each other.
Absolutely.
Right? And that might mean that you freaking let them watch 8 hours of TV a day.
It's okay. I know. It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, my sister, who is just the most loving mother I have known, called me yesterday and told me that she had tried to sit down and do a reading lesson with my nephew and that she just lost her shit. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I said, okay, why were you doing that reading lesson yesterday? I don't know, because she's supposed to, right? Because they were watching too much TV. And I said, okay, I feel like my nephew will be less scarred in the long run if you just let him watch TV all day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you force him into reading lessons and lose your shit up there, right? Mm-hmm. So we lower our expectations. We take this time for what it is, which is a very scary, uncertain time. And we let our people be whoever they are in this
That's
time.
right. That's right.
Everybody handles these things differently. I've got one kid who's pissed off, right? I've got one kid who's very quiet and afraid. I've got one kid who has maybe not noticed what's happening.
Right, right. I wish I was that kid.
I've always wished I was that kid.
I want to channel that kid. But I want to speak to this also as it relates to our little people, because I have a 15-month-old little man who, you know, his world is different. Not, you know, he's at home with us, and we have the most incredible woman who's part of our family now, who's my son's nanny, who typically comes during the week while we work, you know, from 8 to 5 or 6. And so Angie's home with her family right now. Obviously, we're not having anybody come in and out of our house. Mm-hmm. Oliver's uncle and aunt are here staying with us. He doesn't really know them very well. He sees Mama and Dada much more throughout the day, but Mama and Dada are tethered because they're trying to, you know, run a business and support, you know, a staff and a team and the whole thing. And so he's feeling it. And I think that I really want to speak to the moms that have small children and say that they know and they can feel everything. When I had postpartum depression, my son was only 4 months old. And at 5 months, he stopped breastfeeding. He was like, I need to give you a break. Like he was perfect at breastfeeding. He said, no. So they know what's up at the youngest age. So, you know, I think that it's never too soon to hold them close, acknowledge their feelings, let them cry, let them feel that, let them feel what's up. Don't stifle. I mean, this is really coming back to Untamed, right? It's like if we were all told as little children that your feelings are totally normal, accepted, I understand. You know, I keep saying to baby Oliver, I say, baby Ollie, I understand. Things are different right now. You have people in your home that you don't know. He understands me. Mm-hmm. He may not understand every word I'm saying. He understands that I understand him. Mm-hmm. And that ability to co-regulate with the child is the biggest gift that we could give them right now. It will save them from PTSD. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, what happens when we get into the, you know, any kind of trauma state is that our ability to process our emotions is stifled. Mm-hmm. This is why you wrote this book.
Because we're always trying to fix each other. And what we think, I mean, it's just amazing. I do not think it's our fault, especially our parenting generation. You're younger than I am, but I think you still fall into the same parenting. I feel like every group of parents within a culture, within a time, gets like a particular memo.
Totally.
Our memo was protect your child from pain. Do everything that you can do to make sure this child never has a drop of water that falls upon her head. Make sure she wins every single competition. If she doesn't, here's 50 participation trophies for her. Make sure no one's ever mean to her. Make sure she never frowns or is in the vicinity of anyone who frowns around her. So this is why we're all neurotic, right? And it's also why our children suck, okay? They all suck because people who do not suck are people who have learned to sit with their pain.
That's right.
Right? And so they don't want to pass it on to other people, because people do not suck are people who have lost, right? And learned how to lose with grace and win with dignity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So So I'll never forget, I was at a parenting convention at one point, and a woman raised her hand and she said, Glennon, my family is broken and there's nothing that I can do to fix it, and my little boy is in so much pain. And every day I look at him and I think, I had one job. My one job was to protect him from pain, and I couldn't do it. And all the other moms are, yes, me too, And I said, okay, can you give me 3 words that you would use to describe the kind of man you're trying to raise? And she said, I want him to be brave, I want him to be kind, and I want him to be wise. And I said, okay, awesome words. Like, tell me real quick, what is it in a human life that creates courage and kindness and wisdom? It's pain. It's not having anything to overcome.
Right.
It's overcoming and overcoming and overcoming, right?
Resilience.
So it's resilience. So is it possible that our parenting generation has been tamed into stealing the one thing from our children that will allow them to become the adults we dream they'll be? Right? And is it possible that it was never our job nor our right to protect or grab our children's pain? That's right. It was our job to let them have it.
That's right. And
use it to transform, right? Somebody asked my kid like the other day, how do you raise brave kids, Glennon? How did your mama raise brave kids? And Tish said, I think you just have to allow kids to be brave.
I love her.
We usually don't, right? Anything hard happens and we're like,
we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. Yeah.
This isn't real. Your feelings aren't real. Feel better. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Right. Right. Or it's okay is the worst thing you could say to a child.
It's not okay.
I mean, it's not that we are trying to I think it's about the way. I believe that if we, so I see this now even just with my marriage and with my friendships, it's like the greatest gift that we can give anyone is to honor their thoughts and their feelings. And so and if you think about, any one of you watching, if you think about this and you think about, okay, if my parents or my teachers or my brother or whatever honored my thoughts and feelings, how much easier would my life have been? Because when we have our feelings, when we are shut down with it's or exactly what you wrote about, be the good girl, right? That 10-year-old girl, and for me a lot happened at 10 too, and you write about this in the book. And anybody that's tuning in now, we're referencing her new book, Untamed. And so when you feel that being stifled, your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions being shut down, that puts you into an immobilized state. And
it creates a pattern that you take on the rest of your life. When I feel, it stopped.
Exactly. And if we don't have the necessary tools for resilience, for feeling through a feeling completely, allowing it to move through us, allowing our body to express it completely and fully, it not only gets stuck in our psyche, but it also gets stuck in our physical condition. So if your children have gut issues, or if you as an adult have gut issues, or if you have physical back pain, these are psychosomatic issues, right? And we have a lot of power by being untamed, by allowing our emotions to be free, by allowing our words to come through naturally, by giving voice to what is real. That is actually the greatest resource we have, is resilience. And particularly right now, when all of the safeties have been taken away from us, that our true safety lies in our ability to fully process our feelings and our thoughts right now, and not to tame them.
It won't kill us, right? Because these ideas that we're supposed to be happy all the time, that we're supposed to be grateful all the time, they're just dirty pink bunnies.
Dirty pink bunnies. That's right.
They're dirty pink bunnies that we're trained to chase. Because if we return to our wild, if women actually returned to themselves, allowed themselves to feel all of it, trusted themselves, and unleashed themselves, power structures would change completely.
Yep.
Right? Which is why the world as we know it would end, which is exactly what we want, right? Because we want to rebuild families and institutions and governments built on equality and justice and freedom, right? So I do think that the reason why we steal our children's pain from them is because that's what we were taught. Yep. And if we were taught every time our wild welled up and we showed it, to shove it back down, what we learned over time is that who we are is not good and it's not safe. And feeling our feelings is not good and it's not safe. If we're told that over and over again as we're children, we wonder why we go to the pantry every single time we start to feel our wild.
That's right.
Why we go to the scrolling every time we start. Why we go to the hatred and the snark every time we feel our wild. It's because that's the pattern we learned as a child.
Right. And then when we see our child in pain, we anesthetize their pain with a show or with anything because we don't want to feel it.
We don't want to feel it.
It's our selfish fault.
And I learned that in my marriage. I mean, you guys, I am a feeler. Abby is a fixer. Okay. And if you want to know how it feels to be a kid and have everyone tell you it's okay, like, so let's just go back to the tour being canceled example. So I am so sad because my tour is canceled. I'm being sad in the privacy of my own home with my wife.
Right.
And my wife, who loves me so much.
So much.
I mean, loves me like I've never been loved before. Dies inside every time she sees me sad. So what she immediately starts saying is, baby, this is okay.
Yeah,
this is okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best thing to ever happen to your book.
Right.
Everyone's going to read. It's okay. It's gonna be good. And I just start getting so mad and
right.
Because when you present your feelings to someone and they tell you all the reasons why it's gonna be okay, what that is it's unvalidating.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. You're nailing it. Here we go. Everybody listen. Go girl.
And also here's the other thing. We don't share ourselves or our feelings to be fixed. We share ourselves or our feelings to be heard and seen, right? And the truth is that everybody wants to be the hero of her own situation in her own life.
Right.
So when I share myself for you and you go right away to hope,
it's too soon.
You're stealing my role.
Right.
I want to be the one that eventually moves us towards hope because it's my situation. Mm-hmm. And when you steal the hope role, you're cutting in line.
Yep.
I want to tell you how much it sucks. I want you to hear how much it sucks. I want you to look at me and say, this sucks.
Right.
Then I will step in 5 minutes and be like, but you know what? It's going to be all right because of this and this and this. Right, and then I get to be the hero of my own situation.
What you're teaching right now is actually the Abraham Hicks emotional guidance skill. Yeah, it's excellent what you're doing. So Abraham Hicks says that you can't go from despair to joy. You can't leap there. In fact, it'll make things worse because it's just the vibrational frequencies are so far apart that if you try to leap from fear to love like that, it will make things worse, just like what you were saying. So the emotional guidance skill is such that you could go from, despair to jealousy. I'm jealous that,
yes,
launched their book 3 months ago and I didn't launch mine. But that jealousy is a better feeling vibration than despair. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you can go from jealousy to boredom. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm fucking bored right now. I don't know what to do. I'm supposed to be on my book tour, but I'm bored. That boredom is a much better vibration than the jealousy. Right. Mm-hmm. And so what we have to do right now is allow our people that we are surrounded by to get themselves out, to use that emotional guidance skill, to encourage it, to say, to not even say anything, to just sit with someone and say, yeah, tell me how you feel, talk to me, because what we are naturally inclined to do, we all genuinely want to feel better. So we all have the ability to naturally guide ourselves into a better feeling vibration. And so a better feeling vibration from despair could be rage. So Abby's greatest gift she could do for you right now is just let you rage. Mm-hmm. Rage is a much better vibration than that despair. And I think, I'm a former fixer, so I really understand where Abby's at, right? That need to just be like, it's okay, I don't want my wife to be upset. And I used to do this with my husband all the time, and he would say the same thing that you're saying is, just let me feel, let me feel. So this morning, Zach and I woke up and I was like, just say everything, baby. Tell me everything, put it on the table right before the baby gets up, and he's like, okay, this is what's up with this thing, and I want to make sure we've locked in the mortgage rate because we're doing a project, you know what I mean? Like just this and that and this and that. And he's like, not totally worried about that, but I need to say it out loud, and, you know, and just hold the space. Hold the space.
That's it. That's it.
And
we learned this with our little one too, with the kids. I mean, we have one child who has really big feelings, Gabby, just because of karma, right? So she just, raising her is just an absolute journey and makes me have compassion for my parents.
I was going to say, oh, sounds familiar, huh?
And we learned so early with her, like, this is a child who, if she couldn't tie her shoes, like, it was like the entire family would shut down for 12 minutes. Like, there was no difference between everyone I know has died and I can't tie my shoes. Like, no difference. Always a 10, right? And what I learned with her was the worst thing I could do is to try to explain to her why it wasn't a big deal that she couldn't tie her shoes.
100%. 100%.
Nothing would make it worse than that, right? What we learned with her is, and the strategy we still use with her now, she's 14, and actually Abby has started using with me, is this idea of, you bring your problem to me, you tell me your feelings, and then I say, we're not ready for the solution yet, are we?
That's right.
Or are you ready for solution time?
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, Tish will say no.
Yep.
Because the fact is, she knows there's solution in the back of her head while she's having the feeling. She knows that there's a solution to this.
That's right.
She's a smart person. She'll get to that solution. She doesn't even need us for that.
Right.
That's not what she needs us for. What she needs us for is to say, I see how you feel. That's it.
That's it.
And give her space for it. And then eventually she regulates herself.
It's about seeking relief rather than solutions.
Yes.
Because when we get back into that place of relief, solutions intuitively come to us. Mm-hmm. We don't actually, we're always trying to fix and find and solve. Right now, we cannot fix, find, or solve. You know, all we can do is we can be part of the solution by seeking relief.
Yeah. And when we don't let people do that, I mean, I think that taming is always connected to shaming. Okay. Yes. So
totally.
It's taming and shaming. We are tamed when we're shamed out of who we are, right? In order to fit in a box that makes other people comfortable, whether that's about our sexuality or our gender or our emotions or our whatever situation it is for you. Shame is what gets us caged, right? So what we can do is with people, like, for example, if I say I'm sad about my tour, Abby says, but it's going to be great, but your words are helping people in their homes, but other people, like, think about the doctors, think about the nurses, think about blah, blah.
Right.
I will say, you're right, I'm grateful. But I only got there through shame.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
I didn't get there through any place where I worked out my own path.
That's right, yep.
Because somebody held space for me to travel that journey, right? I will just be shamed into gratitude. If Tish is tying her shoes and she breaks down and she's a little girl and I say, come on, it's just your shoes, she will get to the place where she stops expressing.
Right.
But she only got there because of shame.
Right. You know, I found myself doing that yesterday with Ollie. Like, he was throwing his food on the floor, and I was saying to him, he didn't totally pick this up, but recognize how powerful our words are. I said, you know, baby, we don't waste food because there's people that have no food. And it's like, well, you know what? I could have just picked that food up, put it into a Tupperware, and saved it for the next meal without shaming him for being a child, right? Like, I do not want to start shaming my child around eating right now at 15 months, right? So it's not that we can't, teach, but we have to connect first before we teach. This is all the Dan Siegel work, right? It's like we have to connect and then guide. So we're not going to let, it's not all like all hell breaks loose, everybody just does whatever the hell they want either. There's a balance here, right? But it's about first and foremost connecting and acknowledging and being fully present with someone. Being tamed is shame. That is absolutely magnificent. That's
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I learned it early. I mean, we all do. We all are tamed out of our wild through shaming. And, you know, I think that one of the scary and hard parts is that usually we are tamed by the people who love us, right? So, you know, most of us, not all of us, because many of us had very, very difficult childhoods, but most of us have a few good years of freedom when we're children, right? We have a few good years where we are just living as ourselves.
That's right.
Right?
And then it gets shut the fuck down.
Right. And then we start to become culturally and socially aware. Okay, so studies after studies shows us that most people, and especially little girls, lose themselves right around 10 years old.
That's right.
And that is because right around 10 years old is when we start to formally internalize our social programming, right? So what social programming looks like, what I call taming, is, okay, you're a girl and good girls aren't bossy. You're a good girl and good girls are pleasant. You're a good girl and good girls are small and grateful and all the things, right? Oh, you're a Doyle. You're a Doyle, and Doyles do this. Doyles don't do that. Doyle's a good Doyle. Oh, you're a Christian. So a good Christian does this. A good Christian does this. And these are the dirty pink bunnies, right? And we spend our entire lives chasing these dirty pink bunnies and other people in forms of shoulds and supposed tos and expectations and ideals, right? Spend our whole lives chasing them, and then we wonder why we are exhausted and overwhelmed and underwhelmed. And
addicted.
We don't feel free. Addicted.
Terrified.
Right? Bored.
Panic attacks.
And also weary.
Uninspired. Right? Yeah.
Because we're chasing somebody else's dirty pink bunnies.
That's beautiful.
Instead of living as who we are.
And somebody actually posted, when you were saying this, somebody posted in the comments, you know, this happened, but it's not too late.
No.
Right. And I think that that's probably the core message of this book, right? This core, like if there was one core message that you wanted the reader right now reading Untamed, and even given the circumstances of these times, what would you want them to walk away with? What's that core message you want them to walk away with?
I have two things to say right in this moment about that. And one is that, you know, we all want to be good. We want to be good mothers. We want to be good wives. We want to be good women. We want to be good people. And that's okay. We must create our own definitions of what is good. Right? Mm-hmm. So I almost missed out on the love of my life. I almost abandoned myself again because I decided early on that I could not follow my love for Abby because I needed to be a good mother. Okay? And this is all when I was 42.
It's a beautiful part of the book. This is actually one of the notes I took, which was blowjobs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When your shrink said, just give your husband a blowjob.
Oh, blowjobs.
Make it work. Blowjobs.
No, thank you.
My, I hope she's reading the book right now.
Girl, as God is my witness, I will never give a blowjob again. Moving right along. So I decided I can't leave my marriage because good mothers don't break up their families. Good mothers don't break their children's hearts, right? One day I'm braiding Tish's hair and I look at her and I think, I'm staying in this marriage for her. But would I want this marriage for her? And if I would not want this marriage for this little girl, then why am I modeling bad love and calling that good mothering?
Yep. I actually highlighted that sentence in the book.
And Gabby, the reason I was doing that is because I was chasing the dirty pink bunny.
Right.
That mothers are martyrs.
Right.
Right. That what a good mother does is she just slowly dies for the rest of her life in honor of her children. That what a good mother does is that she just buries her emotions, her desire, her dreams, her ambition, and then she just calls that love. Right? Well, first of all, watch carefully what they taught you about what makes a good daughter, a good wife, a good woman, a good Christian, a good mother, because all of those messages, those ideals will in one way or another tell you to slowly disappear.
That's right.
Because that's the message that women get in every arena of their life. Slowly disappear. Become smaller and smaller in body, mind, spirit, ambition, dream. So you don't threaten anybody else, right? Mothers are martyrs. What a burden for children of mother martyrs to bear, right? To know, you said they know that they are the reason that their mother stopped living.
That's right.
They're responsible for it.
They know.
They know, right? And then what a burden, and to know that if one day they become parents, they will need to slowly disappear for their children too, because if we hold up martyrdom, motherhood as the ideal, our children will spend their whole lives trying to reach that,
right,
as the epitome, right? Which is why Carl Jung said there is no greater burden on a child than the unlived life of a parent.
Beautiful.
Right? So I want to be a good mother too. I just made my own damn definition of motherhood, right? That a mother is not a martyr. A mother is a model, right? That I will not slowly die for my children. I will show my children how to bravely live until the day I die, right? Because I believe deeply that our children will only allow themselves to live as fully as we allow ourselves to live. And so the call of motherhood is to not settle for any relationship, community, conversation, nation, world less true and beautiful than the one we would want for our babies.
100%.
So that, fine, be a good girl, be a good woman, be a good mother, be a good everything, but make your own damn definitions of what is good and unearth the invisible beliefs that have been planted beneath you to control you. Right? Do what Whitman said. Re-examine every single thing you have been taught in a church, in a book, in the world, and dismiss whatever insults your own soul.
Right.
If it insults your own soul, you are a grown-ass woman and you may dismiss it.
That's right.
Right? So that's what untaming is. It's just unearthing all of these fake beliefs, lies that have been planted beneath us and planting our own damn roots beneath ourselves. Because when we plant our own roots, we finally start growing, right, as huge and majestic and strong as we were meant to be. And the fruit of our lives suddenly becomes our own. We look around and say, yeah, my outside life now reflects my inside, my wild self. So that, I guess that's enough.
It's a pretty damn good core message. And so what I wanted to do, first of all, is I want every single person that's been watching this and anyone that watches this replay to go to Amazon, buy Untamed. Let this book be a power of inspiration for you. Number one, it's hysterical. And it's like I'm crying and laughing at the same time while I'm reading this book, because it really hits home. And what it will do is really allow you to honor those little girls, that little girl, little Glennon, little Gabby, little Abby, and just give her permission to go. Give her permission.
It's the girl we were before the world told us who to be.
And right now, more than ever, we need to really acknowledge that little girl, give her the space to be where she needs to be, and then allow her to be truly untamed right now, so that she can, like this, the mamas are going to show up right now, you know, to be, and even if you're not a mother, that maternal energy within you is going to show up right now. And so on that note, I want us to close with a prayer to a God of our own understandings, and let everybody in on this. And you know what I like to do with people is, like, I'll start the prayer and then you go, and then I'll pick up when I know you're ready for me to pick up, and let's just riff for a moment so that we can really just, in an untamed way, send everybody off with a sense of safety and permission to be untamed.
Okay, and I'm going to be untamed right now and tell you that this scares the shit out of me.
Oh.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I love and trust you.
Okay, I'll carry
it. Sweating. I'm like, I don't pray out loud. I want to do it.
Okay, why don't I carry you? And I have an idea. I will hold you in a space of safety and freedom as I guide the prayer and invite you in moments, okay?
Okay, I can do it.
Let's close our eyes. We got this. Let's close our eyes, everybody, wherever you are, unless you're driving, which you're not, close your eyes. And we call on the guidance of the highest truth and compassion, a God of our own understanding, spirit of our own understanding, angels of our own understanding, a religion of our own understanding, a spiritual foundation and practice of our own understanding. And we say now, may we all in this moment place our hands